Welcome, everybody. My name is Darren Yellen. I'm the event manager for Salem Media of New York.
You guys will have notes.
We're working on these. This is our fifth business breakfast, and each time we're trying to make it better. We really feel we put together a fantastic panel. We got a great moderator, and we're just excited that you're all here. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakfast. Thank you, Dominic. He's probably running around, but thanks, Dominic at DR Catering. And also our other advertisers. They're here also. There's a bunch of advertisers out there that want to earn your business. So please go visit them, talk to them, and take their cards. I also like to thank Bergen Community College, Peter Ledun, Tom and his staff who put this beautiful production together, and of course, Joyce Becker, who's worked very hard to get this done. I'd like to introduce our general manager and fearless leader, Mr. Jerry Crowley.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming. Darren Yellen, who just spoke, has done a terrific job working with the Bergen people, Joyce and Peter, in organizing this event. But my job is to tell you why Joe Piscopo is here. So it's a little unusual in our world, folks, that a star, a celebrity of the magnitude of Joe Piscopo would come out on a rainy Wednesday morning to do a show from here and to speak to us. Why does he do that? I work with Joe every day, and his mantra, the thing we begin every day with is, Jerry, what can I give back to the community? Now, I promise you in radio, there are very few people who do that. They may talk about it, but Joe's a guy who goes out and does community service, volunteers his time, and really cares about the people around him in the city, the region, and the country. So he said to me when we wanted to do the business breakfast, he said, what can we offer? And I said, we'll come out with information from a panel of distinguished people that the audience won't be able to get that information anywhere else. So what you're going to hear today, because Joe Piscopo asked us to do this, is extraordinary people delivering extraordinary information on how to make your businesses better. So with that, let me introduce my favorite morning man, Joe Piscopo.
Jerry Crowley, there's a man right there, the legend in broadcasting. He gave me cab fare today. It's great. Thank you, Jerry. How's everybody doing? You're in Jersey. Make some noise. Come on now. Yeah. We got a great morning. Look at the stars on here. Rich and Michael and Tim and Gary. This is a great group of some of the finest business people that you will see anywhere. And first and foremost, on behalf of all of us, and before I bring up my dear friend Steve, thank you for being here. We appreciate it because, you know, it's great to have you here. The energy is great. AM 970, The Answer. It's so wild. I'm doing morning radio now. I was talking to Tim McLoone. Who knew? I mean, I'm getting up at the time when I used to come in all night, you know, and now we're doing the early mornings, and it's working great, and it doesn't go by us. I do it with great respect because this is broadcasting at its best from Salem Media, and I am proud to be on the flagship station on AM 970, The Answer, but we can't do it without you. So thanks for coming in. We're going to make changes. You ain't seen nothing yet. This is we're just starting the energy. We could feel the energy, and we're going to really take off with this whole radio thing. And everybody, is this mostly Jersey, New York in the house today? Thank you for coming to Jersey. Thank you. We appreciate it very much. You're good. And Peggy, is that you down front? Peggy, and you got down front. Thank you for being here. Are you going to do a song later, maybe? Peggy's one of our dear listeners with a great voice. She was at Lorenzo's. But Peggy, they seated you in the back at Lorenzo's, but I'm glad you got a front row seat. For you, our front. God bless you, girl. We thank you for being here, and thank you for listening. If you're listeners and happen to just come in to be spectators today, welcome as well. Let me introduce my dear friend, if I may, because I got to get back on the radio. He's a great guy. He's a Newark guy, but I mean, the family, the Adubato name is legendary in Newark because not only because there's so many of them, but because of Steve's father. He did so much in the nonprofit arena. That's how I know them, with the North Ward Center, staying in Newark, helping out the family in Newark, which inspired me, by the way, through a mentor of me and Steve's, Raymond Chambers, to give back to the city of Newark. And then from there, go to the Boys and Girls Clubs. And I stand before you as a spokesperson for the Boys and Girls Clubs of New Jersey. And it all comes from the Adubato name. I mean, here's a family that comes from Italy. They come to Newark, New Jersey, and then they give back to the community. And now Steve's a star in his own right, one of the great business leaders in our community, a great friend, a great Italian-American, I got to say that. And he's on AM 970, The Answer. And we're so proud to be affiliated with Steve. You know him on PBS, and I'm doing the PBS show next week with Steve, and you know, it's one of those local guys that has done so well, and he's such a great guy that it is with pride that I introduce to you Mr. Steve Adubato, if you would. Thank you. Go get him, buddy. Thank you. I'm going back on the radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the great Joe Piscopo.
Good to see you, Michael.
One of the great things about business, and we all know this, from what we do professionally, is that you can plan for just about anything, Jerry Crowley. Then the fire alarm goes off, and then you deal with it. That's what we do. We deal with whatever happens. And let me just acknowledge before I say some nice things about our boss, Jerry Crowley, and the station. Come on in, folks. Listen, that's great. Fire alarm happens, you go find more things to eat. That's great. Come on in. It's New Jersey. That's what happens. It's New Jersey. You take advantage of the situation. That's the second rule of business. Every obstacle is an opportunity to eat. So we are at Bergen Community College, and I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge a great friend and a business partner. Bergen Community College happens to be one of the great sponsors, underwriters of our work in public broadcasting, and the president of Bergen Community College is here, and she wants to acknowledge she had absolutely nothing to do with that fire alarm going off. Dr. Kay Walter. Kay, could you wave, please? Right there. And Kay just told me we're outside. By the way, she was directing the fire truck. She's very hands-on in terms of management. She said, I just came back from vacation, my first day at campus. Welcome back, Kay. Good. Welcome back. And I also want to acknowledge Jerry Crowley, not just because he's been my radio, and I can say that he's my radio godfather, and no disrespect, he's not my radio rabbi, only because I'm Italian. He is my radio godfather. He is the person who got me into radio. He is the person who's taught me about radio. He has helped me understand more about the power of radio than anyone else. And so it is because of Jerry that I'm here. When he called and said, Steve, we're having this business breakfast with a great group of people, and Piscopo will not be a problem. Trust me, I got it taken care of. I said, good, you take care of Joe and I'll be there. So I want you to just join me in saying thank you for the guy who helped us bring this Salem Business Breakfast together, Jerry Crowley. All right, folks, the Salem Business Breakfast, great group of people I'm about to introduce. Listen, I've got some ideas about small business and about any kind of business, but while I'll sprinkle them in, we have some great people here who have even more valuable ideas. And so I'm going to ask you to join me in welcoming our great friends here. First, from our business partners at New Jersey Advanced Media, the Director of Client Marketing Strategy, Mr. Rich Campanauer. Rich, right here. A guy who knows more about sports marketing than just about anybody else. Michael, did you actually run that whole Meadowlands thing when it was actually working?
Occasionally.
Yeah, that was you.
He also fired me.
Okay. So you know that Michael Rowe has great business acumen. No, I didn't. One bad decision you made, Michael. Well, by the way, did we know that before we booked you? Did we know that you fired him?
I'd like to move my seat.
By the way, Tim is the best, and we'll find out in a second. But Michael Rowe, President and CEO of Positive Impact S+E. Let's hear it for Michael Rowe. And this guy, talk about an entrepreneur, talk about a philanthropist, talk about a musician, and just a guy who gives back all the time while he's making a ton of money, which is, all right, maybe not a ton of money. No, he actually does. You can't be down the shore. You can't be in West Orange, New Jersey, without being around a great McLoone's operation. Tim McLoone, founder, Holiday Express, owner, McLoone's Restaurants, our great friend, Tim McLoone. And all kinds of entrepreneurs here today. And rounding out the group of people we have, Gary Occhiogrosso. It's Occhiogrosso.
You got it.
Why do I would say Ocho, but it's Occhio.
Well, my mother would say Meragan, would say Occhio. But Italians would say Occhio.
You call me a Metagon in front of everybody
Well,
here.
I'm just,
I'm just
quoting
saying.
my mother.
Well, I go with what your mother says.
Aye.
Gary Occhiogrosso, President and Chief Development Officer, True Foods. Let's hear for Gary. I got to ask you, because everyone comes here with a different area of expertise, but at the same time, they also cross over. Tim, starting a business. So many people here. By the way, by applause, my physical therapist is here, and my back is doing just fine because of Todd. You started the business how many years ago, Todd? And he's still in business, and that says a lot. How many people, by applause, have started a business? At least one. By applause. All right, by applause, how many people still in business? That's a good sign. Good sign. One more question. How many people in the next year looking to start either a new business or another business? By applause. Just curious. Tim, 3 keys to starting a new business. Go.
3. How about 400? I have I have a close friend who owns electronics warehouses. He is literally a billionaire. And we were trying to go from restaurant number 9 to number 10, right? And so I got in touch with him and I said, how do you run 4,000 warehouses around the world when I'm getting my, pardon my expression, my ass kicked going from 9 to 10? He wrote back to me, and this is a man of very few words, a terrific guy, and he wrote back, he said, assemble a dream team, be a coach, not a player coach, and then number 3 was get lucky. I wrote back and said, please God, tell me there's a 4, 5, and 6, because I don't think those 3 cover it. I think if I were being more serious about the answer, I think the key thing is optimism, because so many bad things do happen. I think if there's one thing that all entrepreneurs have in common, it's their optimism. And you don't want to be foolishly optimistic and just be whistling in the wind and not worrying about things. But if you lose your optimism, then you should probably be working for someone else. I don't think you can work for yourself if you're not optimistic about life in general and about the prospects of your business. I don't know that there are 3 things about starting it up, but the number one thing in the other idea would be to just make sure that you feel confident that what you're about to do is where you want to be. It's not just having a good idea, it's that you want to be there doing that idea. Because a lot of people I've met over the years think that they want to get in the restaurant business, for instance. I overheard you speaking about that. But they really don't belong there. They don't understand the lifestyle. I was used to, as a full-time musician, being out every night, and I didn't mind giving up weekends. I played music every Christmas night, every Thanksgiving Eve, every Thanksgiving night, and it wasn't a burden to me. That's what I did for a living.
Loved it.
So going into a business that demanded my attention on weekends, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is for a lot of people. If you're a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday kind of person, all of a sudden you find yourself working every Saturday night, every Sunday. It's not easy. So you have to want to be there.
Stay on Tim's point. I want everybody to jump in here. And by the way, we're going to open this up. That's why these microphones are here. Jump into this conversation. This is my, by the way, I have no problem doing this. One of the other keys to promoting oneself in a business is to plug their stuff. By the way, are you uncomfortable if I plug my books? I don't really care.
We're uncomfortable
Yes.
here. The
You're uncomfortable?
panel's uncomfortable with
You
that.
uncomfortable?
Yeah, a little.
As
Good,
long
I
as
don't
we
care.
can plug, we're okay.
This book is called You Are the Brand, because you are the brand, right? You're the brand. Tim McLoone, that's why it's not called Jim Smith. It's called
McLoone.
McLoon's, exactly. This book is called You Are the Brand, and this book is called Make the Connection. And they're outside, and we're selling them at a huge AM 970 discount. I won't promote them except 4 or 5 more times later. Free. What have you been saying? That's not, what kind of business is that? It's New Jersey. But here's what I was going to say. Tim was talking about the weekends. I'm curious about this. This next book I'm writing, Lessons in Leadership, my wife is like, why are you writing at 3 o'clock in the morning? Why is it that you get up and do the AM 970 thing, and she goes, well, how much are they paying you? I said, well, it's Jerry Crowley, nothing. So I said, well, Jerry and I worked a deal out, promotion on the air, back and forth. And here's why am I raising this? Most of what we do, truthfully, in all seriousness, beyond having to pay the bills, is because of an intense passion that requires you to be up these ridiculous hours, working out partnerships with your friends that sometimes it is always a quid pro quo. Well, this is my fee, this is my rate card, and if you're not paying it, I'm not doing it. If it's not during 9 to 5, we do crazy things at crazy hours with great friends that isn't on the rate card because, Michael?
We love our business.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I would agree with what Tim said in terms of the keys. I didn't actually fire him. We'll explain that later. At the next fire alarm. Yeah, he's using the word fire because of the alarm. One of the things we try and talk to folks about, and it's a tired expression these days. We used to use it, I think, before a lot of other people did because we're old. But dream with your eyes open.
Say it again. Dream.
Dream with your eyes open.
Talk about it.
Have a plan. Understand what your business is about. Why do they need you? What's the point of it? Can you enjoy what you're doing? Can you make money? Can other people enjoy what you're doing? Why do they need you? Is the second thing. What's different about your idea that makes you different than everybody else? In Tim's case, he has really good food. It's a show atmosphere. They're in locations that you want to be entertained at. It's an experience. It's not a restaurant. We were talking about the old automats that used to be in New York at grandfathers, and everybody used to take you put a quarter in, you get your food out. That's not what this is about. This is an entertainment and show business that has to be anchored by a core product that you're selling. And same as you. When we used to work at the Meadowlands for 16 years, you might have attended an event there at 8 o'clock at night or 7:30 at night. We started 12, 14 hours before that, but quite frankly, if I didn't have the opportunity to work there, I would have been trying to buy a ticket to go there. I loved what I was doing. When the band went on the stage or somebody kicked a football, I thought I was singing and I thought I was playing the football. But more importantly, when you look around, you see 80,000 people enjoying themselves. They don't know who you are, but you know you were a small part of their enjoyment. You gave them some value. You gave them a couple of hours of enjoyment. And that's what we love about our business.
Gary, I want you to jump in, Rich, you as well.
Well, I certainly agree on the passion. If I had to create a quick list, it would be passion, point of view, and focus.
Point of view.
Well, point of view today in operating a business is different than when my grandfather opened his business, I believe. Back in the Depression era, people were very happy and grateful to work 100 hours a week and never take a vacation. That's not necessarily what owning a business should be. I'm a believer, because I'm a franchisor, so I'm a believer that you create a system and you operate a system that runs the business. You don't actually run the business.
Why not?
Well, if you confuse the work of the business with the business as the owner, you tend to get hung up on, on the process that you really should be leading and training and developing other folks to do so that you as the entrepreneur, as the visionary, can create a bigger footprint for that business. Very often you'll find folks that basically buy themselves a job or create a job. They end up just living in their shop, living in their restaurant, living in their store, and they don't enjoy the full benefits of business ownership. And to me, the biggest benefit is not money. It's not about money. It's about time. It's about freedom. It's about control.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. How many people here, by a show of hands, run your own business and you are the person who keeps your operation going? Put your hands up. There's a reason I asked that question. There are a fair number of people who came here to the Salem Business Breakfast, listened to the station, and said, you know what? I run my operation. Without me, it doesn't run. So they may love the idea of what you said, Gary, but they're thinking to themselves, are you kidding me? It's me. Without me, no?
Well, no, I'm not going to disagree with you. What I'm pointing out is that it's point of view. Yes, you operate your business, you operate your system. It's a function of what you're doing. Very often, business owners, small business owners, and that's what we deal with. I mean, we put hundreds of folks in business for themselves, typically in restaurants, in franchise restaurants. What we do is we train our franchisees to think about their role in the business as actually developing the systems and the sales and being the ambassador in their community, creating opportunities that create reasons for people to come into their restaurant per se, not necessarily to be the chef owner. Not that that doesn't work. I mean, folks take a different point of view and they get out of it what they want. Some folks are very happy to do that. But my point of view is different. My point of view is if you can run one, you can run 50 if you choose.
Really?
Why not?
Well,
Dream with your eyes
also-
open.
He's also backing up, be a coach, not a player coach.
Absolutely.
We talk about coach, not player coach.
You know, the difference between, you know, being a boss and being a leader, being a coach and counseling folks and hand up, you know, bringing people along. I think, you know, when you're in a room with a manager or a boss, you don't necessarily feel that you can be on that level. When you're in the room with a leader will bring you up to their level. I'm not a big basketball fan, but the one basketball game I ever went to in my entire life, I was fortunate enough to see Michael Jordan play. And the one thing I recognized about that, and maybe because I'm not a basketball fan, so I wasn't focused on that, was that every player on that court was a better player because Michael Jordan was there. He was leading that team.
I hear you. Again, my job is to facilitate the conversation and to play devil's advocate, but I bet there are a fair number of people here, Rich, jump in, who believe that no one is more invested in your business than you are. No one cares more about what you're doing than you do, particularly if your name is connected to it. And some might argue that makes perfect sense. The strategy makes perfect sense. But it's going to be very difficult. And some of you think it may be impossible to get people to care as much as I do. So therefore, some folks here have a real hard time delegating. Who has a hard time delegating specific responsibilities in your business to other people because you don't think they care as much as you do? Put your hands up. Todd, you do? Now, Todd's been running a business for a lot of years now. Todd, I'm afraid to throw this microphone because then you'll wind up, something bad thing could happen. We have lawyers here. Todd, do me a favor. Come on up here. Grab this microphone. Todd is a physical therapist. We did not plan this. He was based in the town of Montclair for a long time, just expanded his operation to Cedar Grove now? Cedar Grove. Todd, grab this. Grab the microphone right there. You got a big operation now, but you're pretty hands-on.
Yes.
Talk about it.
So started my practice 25 years ago, and we have a specialty practice. There are about 450 people in the world who have the training that I have, and I teach a residency program with an International Spine Institute. I think the most difficult thing for me is human resources. I can get somebody with the right personality, and I might not be able to get the right person with the right skills because there are so few people. I can get some people with the right skills, but they might not have the right personality. So that's been the most difficult thing for me.
So what do you wind up doing?
I work a lot of hours.
Have you just resigned yourself after a few years, a lot of years of doing this? Hey, listen, this is just the way it is. I've got to be the player coach.
No. I've got a wife who runs the business aspect of things, and she's pushing me to do exactly what you folks are saying. Work on your business, not in your business. Train people, and so that's what I'm working
You're
hard
struggling
to do.
with it, aren't you?
It's not easy. Yeah, it's definitely not easy. But it takes me about 2 to 3 years to find the right person, and once I find them, it'll take me another 2 or 3 years to train them up.
Some reaction to this? Yeah.
I
Thanks,
can tell you, and from my world, and I listen to Gary's points, and it makes a lot of sense. Outside of being someone in the marketing world, I also own businesses, and I've experienced exactly what Gary was talking about, taking that hands-on control and not believing that anyone can do it as good as I can do it. And I really feel like I get paranoid when I walk into my businesses and go, why'd you do it this way? Because I always believe that my way is the best. And but from the other side of the house, where I work for a very large media organization, and my job is to go out and work with local businesses on helping them market, I do find that some of the problems that we find is that same level of thought helps when it comes to, well, it helps and it hurts when it comes to the marketing side, because traditional thought process on how to market your business in today's world has changed. And a lot of the thought process, and I know how to market, I know what I'm doing, I know where my audience is. Every day it's changing. So what we're finding is that the audience today is all over the place, and they're not just looking in one place anymore. They're not just, I came up in the Yellow Page business, and we know what happened there. And then I migrated to magazines and worked for very large organizations who saw the shift. One of the companies I worked for was traditionally went from a newspaper to a magazine to radio, right over to digital scale. And that's what we do over at NJ, where we're really helping businesses and consulting with businesses on where the audience is today. We have something called Solo Mo, which basically we know that consumers are now shopping socially, they're looking locally, and they're all doing it on a mobile device. And most businesses, when we look at their websites and we talk to them about where consumer audiences are, a lot of them don't even have a mobile responsive site, which means that...
A mobile responsive site.
Yeah, what that basically means is that in today's world of search, has anyone looked up, say, a restaurant on their mobile phone?
Tim has.
Tim, I know Tim has, right? So if you do a search and you come to a website and you go to open that site up, and then all of a sudden it's a bunch of text, and you have to pinch and pull and expand. You typically won't hang on to that website, right? You might dump out of it. And Google, if anyone's concerned about how their business appears on the search engines, I'll say Google, but I really mean Yahoo and Bing. Google has an algorithm change that states if your site's not responsive, they're not even going to show you on those mobile searches. And one thing you might not know is that in 2014, mobile searches have surpassed desktop searches for the first time. So as local businesses, the one thing you want to make sure is that is your business being seen by your consumers where they're looking, and can you be found when they want to buy your services? And that's where we kind of come in and look at and do an evaluation to help you guide your business down the right path.
So let's stay on this topic. Yeah, Michael, jump into this, because I do want to have a discussion about social media and how effectively you're using that while still not losing the human touch part of it. Yes, Michael.
Yeah, the human, getting back to Doc's point, too many people, small businesses, treat them as a practice. I know that's a word that's used for lawyers and doctors a lot, but we treat them as a practice. They're not businesses. We practice what we do. We assume that a small business, they want principal level service. They're buying into me or Allison or Jim, who are sitting here supporting me today in our company. But we make a mistake by not growing our business because we start thinking about who else can help us in our business at the time of succession planning. When somebody is sick or some wife or girlfriend or move changes the way we deliver our business. So there's a very delicate balance where small businesses really pride themselves on principal level service, but really it's the product that people really want to buy. It's good to see you, but it's the level of service that you do. So it's important before you start thinking about succession planning or at the end of your business to start growing that business by taking the products and getting some people trained in those products.
I'm going to push back a little bit. I believe on paper in certain businesses that works. I don't believe, respectfully, that it works in every business. I don't. Because, I mean, I happen to know Todd's operation. He does have other people. I want to see him. That's number one. He may try to tell me there are other people there, but I want to see him. Number two, in my business, truthfully, when you run this kind of operation as a motivational speaker, you're out there doing seminars, Jerry didn't ask for one of my associates. And if I offered one, he would have felt disrespected. I'm being very candid. And my point is, you can train other people, you can develop other people, but sometimes when you are the brand and you're out front, I respect and appreciate the idea of training other people and developing other people, but sometimes you're it.
No, you're not pushing back. You're actually agreeing with how we run our company. I'm describing how to grow a business that can be bigger and less principle-oriented, and eventually you have to do that at the time of succession to keep your business going because you remove yourself. Our business is going to stay small. We're going to have to work longer hours because we do exactly what you're saying. We feature principal-level service only. We have a handful of clients. Our clients are never going to grow because there's only 24 hours in a day for our 5 principals. Yeah. And as a result of it, we have to be very careful who our clients are.
They want you. They want you and your people.
Well, I want you too, but thank you. But they do. But in terms of growing businesses, yes. If there's 4 of you or 3 of you, there's a limit on how much you're going to grow.
Tim's different. Tim's businesses have McLoone's name on it. But you don't walk into the, I've been to the West Orange McLoone's 10 times. I haven't seen Tim. I mean, he may be in the back
I saw
somewhere.
you come in and I went back into the office.
Son of a... I dropped his name. They
Well-
said it didn't get me a free drink.
No,
I mean...
you're right about this. I was speaking with someone out in the parking lot while we were waiting, and I was saying about how I don't do well with tableside chatting, and it's not that I don't love to talk. Boy, if you know me at all, I'm upset when people aren't really happy. I find it my father would walk to every table, say hello to everybody. He came into our business after he retired. He lived for that. I am like, I'm sorry, it
Where
came
do you
out
go?
cold, you know.
Sorry for interrupting. Where
No.
do you go when we go in a restaurant? Where are you?
I'm usually not there. The honest answer is I run those restaurants during the day from an office, and we had to do it. We got, it's interesting. I wanted to share with everybody. It's sort of a micro versus macro thing, and I'm kind of halfway between. I am the brand right now. I'm here this morning partly because of that. I don't feel real comfortable with it all the time. People used to say to me, when you see your name up, that must be the coolest thing. I'm like, no, that's like the worst thing.
Is it
But-
really?
Oh, I don't like, I will never be comfortable
You're
with
kidding. I want my picture bigger all the time.
it. No, well,
I'm sorry.
we all know about you, Steve.
Hey.
But I want to share a story because it's the micro versus macro. So in our world, it's the Parmesan cheese incident. So you get a pasta dish at one of our restaurants. I want them to bring out an old-fashioned metal grate with a hunk of Parmesan cheese wrapped in a napkin, and they're going to grate it for you right there. Points of service, that's what it's really about for people, because as you rightly said, it's about entertainment. Michael was talking about that. Going out to a restaurant, we're supposed to do it better than you can do it at home and in a way you would never do at home. You're not going to put lights and trees in your home. You're not going to have candles on the table. At any rate, so they bring out the Parmesan cheese, and this is about management. If you don't manage your business every minute of every day, and I don't mean you individually. So the Parmesan cheese comes out, they do a good job, but after a couple of weeks, they can't find those metal graters, but somebody says, hey, didn't we used to have those crank ones? They're in the back. So they go and they find some of the old cranks, and after a couple of weeks, all the cranks fall off. So then they go to the chef a couple of weeks later and say, can you grate some Parmesan cheese for the waitstaff? So they grate the Parmesan cheese up, and they put it in a nice little ceramic ramekin, and they bring it out. And then eventually they can't find the ceramic ramekins anymore, and they bring it out in a plastic ramekin. Eventually, you are not getting Parmesan cheese. That's all. That's the end of that story. If you don't manage it, it dumbs down almost immediately. And I think that if you're dealing with franchisees, that's what you have to be telling them, I presume.
Well, I mean, absolutely. That's the difference between delegating responsibility and abdicating responsibility.
What's delegating versus dumping and abdicating? What's the difference?
Very often, business owners will abdicate their responsibilities.
Not me. I let you do it. So now it's not on me anymore.
Well, I can train you and teach you and lead you in the task, but I still need to monitor that. I still need to follow up. I still need to make sure that the brand, and I'm not a big believer in people or products being the brand. That's what we're talking about here, branding in essence. That everyone has to live up to that brand position. They have to breathe it, live it, eat it. That's really what it comes down to. If you are the business owner and you simply abdicate that responsibility to a team member, they're not necessarily going to live up to it to the same level that you would, because you're the passionate entrepreneur and they're not. So you delegate the responsibility and you follow up. You don't abdicate.
I was kind of teasing about where am I at the restaurants. What I refer to myself as I am the ultimate customer. That's how I position myself. I'm a customer. And when I go to the restaurant, I'm infamous for what are called napkin notes, which are these, the Bev nap. So they see me sitting at the table and I start writing things. And I've felt that most of the most important information I've ever gotten in my life came on a napkin note, including my wife's phone number. But for those of you who hang out in bars. But I write the notes because I'm a customer. I'm not the owner, I'm a customer. And my responsibility is to my customers. And the truth of it is, if I'm not getting the correct service, well, who the hell is? Right? You would like to think that, Tim's here. And, just as an aside on that, I think my other most important thing is not my relationship with my customers, it's my relationship with my employees. And I underestimate sometimes how important it is for me to be in the building. I do, because my dad always espoused the notion of, take life seriously, but not yourself. And I think maybe sometimes I overdo it about not taking myself seriously.
What do you mean?
Well, I think when I'm there, my employees really like it. They want to know who Ma and Pa are. They want to work for me. I'd like to think they do. Because what are they doing? They're leasing me their time, right? Your employees are leasing. They say, I'm putting my hat in with you, okay? You're the one I want to work for. But I need to be there for them. I need to be present. That's why I'm much more at their meetings, and I'm much more dealing with them on a day-to-day individual basis than I am with the customer.
Good stuff. Hey, listen, I want to open it up. We have microphones here. We brought a great group of people. And by the way, you deserve a tremendous amount of respect and appreciation for being entrepreneurial enough, for being people who care enough to come to this breakfast today, this session today. So I'm going to bet that you have questions, you have comments for our great panel. We have, Mike, where's our microphone? Okay, folks, be the first one to be entrepreneurial enough, to be brave enough to ask a question, make a comment, but 30 seconds or less. Yes, tell everyone who you are.
Hi, good morning. My name is Kevin Clark, and I am a hard money lender for real estate investors. Wow. And the question is actually not for my business, but for my wife's. How do you develop a brand within a brand? In other words, Coldwell Banker agent, how does she distinguish herself?
Well, I get to from, that's a great question, and it's one of the verticals that we deal a lot with in our organization. So for the independent agent inside a brokerage house, we know that the national brand is built around their national campaigns. They're doing a lot of creative level advertising. They do their TV, they do their radio. They're doing their branding around the Coldwell Banker brand, let's say. The local agent, though, sometimes gets lost in the shuffle, and these are the one-on-one conversations we have with the local agents. And we know, we talked about branding. The brand really isn't Coldwell. The brand is the local agent that you're going to deal with, and who sold my friend their house, and who put my neighbor in their new home, who I'm really happy with. And the conversation today around that local presence is really around a couple key things. One of them ties directly to social. You asked about social earlier. Social media now is the way that a lot of these local businesses who reside as independent inside a big brand are differentiating themselves. They're going out and they're branching their name out, and they're gaining market exposure at the local level to take advantage of their friends, of the people they network with in the local community.
How?
Well, a couple
Be
ways.
specific. I'm one of those folks who likes to, and by the way, if you came here to look for specific, concrete information, this is the place to get it. People talk about social media in these very broad terms. I want to ask, what appears to be working as it relates to utilizing the social media platforms, and what frankly seems like a lot of noise and not very useful from your experience?
There's a lot of static when it comes to social, because trying to define social media and how to market yourself through social channels today has become difficult. We get it. One thing we tell people is the first thing you need to do is set a clear, definitive set of goals. And one of the first things you need to do is make sure that your social presence is solid, meaning that you can't have a house on sand, right? So we build the presence around having strong social pages, social relevancy out in the marketplace. Just having your name up on a Facebook page doesn't work. Posting once or twice a day doesn't work. What you need to do is going to your wife. She has a network of friends, I'm sure, correct? Right? And I know in Bergen County, the average person that's on Facebook who's relevant in the market has on average 350 friends. So to your point, to be direct on it, what you do is you build this foundation, a robust platform of whether it's LinkedIn for her B2B connections, Facebook for all of her local friends and people who know her in the community, in the market, the PTAs, volunteer softball coach, all those good things. You tie them all in to your network of social. And then you start corresponding slightly. You don't market to them. You do not send the hard message about looking to buy a house. You put yourself out there as things you might want to know if you're looking to upgrade. I know
Is she
you just had a
offering
baby.
free information?
It's kind of guidance to what consumers are looking for. If your wife might have 350 people in her network that she's friends with who have 350 people that branch out, the goal now is after you set the foundation and you start building the base of fans and people who like you is to start communicating to people in those fan bases with different messages based upon what they're doing. She might have friends that just had babies, who are living in an apartment, who might be looking to upgrade. The message there isn't, hey, you need to buy a house because you just had a kid. It is, hey, things you might want to know. If you're looking to expand, here's some great information on Montclair. It's a great area to raise kids. Here's some things about the school districts if you're looking to move up. And you're sending messages out that it's not a direct sell. People don't want to be sold on social.
They don't?
They do not.
What do they want?
Excuse me?
What do they want?
What they want is they want information. They want education. When you look at the model, it's 30% is informational, 30% is educational, and then 40%, somewhere between 30, another 30 to 40% is going to be based around engagement posts. So once you have them engaged, you go from information segments to educational lines about things that you might want to know about the marketplace to, hey, if you're really interested, now you might want to check this out. And then you drive a message home about why they want to deal direct.
I'm curious about this. How many people are on Twitter by applause? Put your hands up. On Twitter. How many people on Facebook? Wow, that's interesting. I'm curious as to how people use Facebook and Twitter. By the way, for people who are on Twitter, I have no problem saying this. Is it wrong to actually ask people to follow you in public on Twitter?
No, I mean, it's as powerful
Yeah,
as
good.
you can
Okay,
get.
so here's what I want to do.
Follow them on Twitter.
So here, no, on our Twitter page, we don't sell you anything. So if you look at our Twitter page, it's at, you can write this down. Go ahead. It's at, you think I'm embarrassed, lady? I'm not, I don't care. We offer free information. We told people to be here today. We asked people to follow our Lessons in Leadership free page where we offer advice. It's at Steve Adubato, that's A-D, yes, it's A-D-U-B-A-T-O. At Steve Adubato, PhD. Yes, I didn't get it in the mail. It's from Rutgers. It's at Steve Adubato, PhD. I know how many followers I have now. I will check and see how many I have later, and we'll see how many people follow.
And if you want to buy a book on the way out, that's okay too.
And by the way, they're selling that McLoone's later on in West Orange today at a discount. Okay, so is it wrong to be self-promotional?
No, you have to be in today's market, you do it by branding yourself. We'll go back to the brand. Everyone at this table has agreed that branding yourself, branding your business is a key important thing. I look around this room, I'm sure I saw a lot of hands get raised when the question was asked, do you run your own business? Are you the front end of the business? You're the face. You're the promoter. You're the person, when someone refers the doctor, they say, oh, I use Dr. Brown. I don't use, West Orange Medical Facility. They specifically state
Dr. Brown.
Dr. Brown, that's my doctor. But when you look, I do a lot of work in the medical community in the vertical, hospitals specifically. There's a lot of chatter. Going back to the other question you asked about your wife, it's also watching what people are stating out there and looking at the chatter that's happening. Share of voice in the world of social is extremely important. So when you think about your brand, you want to see, how are people looking at your brand? How are they looking at your name? How are they looking at your imagery through the world of social and search? Does your competition have a greater share of voice? Is your share of voice greater, but most of what's being stated is in positive? I can give you a quick story. We were just at one of the biggest medical centers in New York. They've been a client of mine for over 20 years, and they said, look, we got our social covered. It's all good. We have a great share of voice. Now, we knew before
What does share
going
of
in-
voice mean?
Share of voice means that out of all the conversations and the chatter out there around, let's say, hospitals, in this case, it was, I don't want to say the name of the hospital, but it's a big hospital, and then one of their main competitors is Montefiore. And they said, well, we're not
So
really
it was the other one.
It's the other one.
I
right?
got it.
Right. So they said our share of voice is great. We know that we have people following us on our Facebook pages all day long. It's good. I said, okay, good. What are they saying about you? I don't. And the next question was, I don't know. Well, would you be concerned if it wasn't positive? Yeah, but we're all positive. We're a great hospital. We get it. But so what we knew before going in, there was some lawsuits that were just settled. Now, the first thing that pops up when you just search for this hospital was the word fraud. Anybody want to be associated with fraud?
That's
if you're
great. That'll help your brand
That
right
helps your
away.
brand a lot, right? So we said, well, yeah, that's great. You have 90% share of voice, and 85% of it is no good. So we have a real problem now. So if we agree that we need to fix it, let's fix it. But those are the things that most businesses don't even know are occurring out there. And I will tell you that in the world of social, the next thing that goes alongside social, outside of reviews and posts, is the negative stuff and the negative reviews that are being stated out there.
So McLoone's has a lot of social media activity. So it's interesting. If you go into McLoone's, great food, great entertainment. It was like crappy food. That would hurt your brand.
Well, there's a lot of that going on in the restaurant industry, maybe more than any other industry. Online Yelp alleged reviews.
Nasty
There's a
things.
lot of negative stuff out there. We have actually gotten to a point with some of our new computer software that we can actually talk to our customers in real time.
How?
They don't understand that totally yet, but they can actually see it, and we're going to start putting it on our menus, that they can actually contact us while they're having their meal if something's going wrong. I'm a little nervous about going into this territory.
Okay, they're at McLoone's.
I get stuff right away. I get things on my phone come to me within 20 minutes of somebody having paid their check. They don't know they're sending it to me. It's called NCR, and I get it. Now, most times it's nice. Quite frankly, most times it's nice.
Had a great experience.
The stuff that goes on Yelp and other sites is, I think, half of it's planted by your competitors, and they want to say bad things about you. And I think most people have now figured that out and are not relying on something. I have to admit, I am the all-time dinosaur sitting up here. I do not do Facebook. I don't do Twitter. I don't do any of it. I can't fit it in. I just can't. I have people that do that for us, but you know the word I was thinking, listening to a lot of this, is the word authenticity. Just authenticity. When you're trying to put your brand out there, you're trying to be in front of it, you're trying to get to the public, let them know how to get to you. If you're not authentic about it, if it's not coming, I don't mean to sound too corny, coming from your heart, but from a real place, I think people know that. I think they sense it. I think they turn off to it.
Well, why can't you be in social media and still be authentic?
Oh, I think you probably can. I mean, I can't dive in. I can't do it. I'm still reading the newspaper in the morning.
Well,
you know?
come on, you're being cynical.
No, I'm
You're
not
so
being cynical.
successful.
I really struggle with that issue.
You're applauding that I said he's cynical, or you're applauding that you think
All
that
of it.
No, you're agreeing with McLoone right now, aren't you? Are you saying we can't read the newspaper but still be in social media?
You're happy about that?
Yeah.
My wife,
He's happy about that.
she is the co-owner of our business, and I'm going to tell you, like, private stuff in a way, but she used to say to me when we were first married, we've been married 20 years now, and she said, I learned, we're applauding her, believe me, the contract's almost up, but, and she's going to move on. She used to say to me, legitimately, I guess, that she said, I learn something from you every day. That I would tell her stuff that I read in the newspaper or saw in the news or talking to friends or being in the business or whatever. That stopped when Facebook came along. It really did. She tells me now. Or I'll say to her, did you hear about that fire? Or something. She said, that was 2 days ago. And, I'm getting it at a big time delay. I don't know that it changes my life, but she lives off of her Facebook contacts. And I would say 90% of her information in general comes from Facebook.
It's interesting. I'll tell my wife to hear about the 2 prisoners up in New York that escaped. She'll say, no, but to hear about our friend that just got divorced. Because she's got the feed on. She may not know the news, but she does know about the Facebook feed.
And local.
It's different. Local stuff.
Local, too. We've got these, Red Bank Green, and we live right next to Red Bank. We live in Little Silver, and they've got their sites that she reads every day. And it could be about the music teachers leaving.
Okay, by the way, hands up, jump into the conversation. Yes, and yes, Gary, yes.
Yeah, but I can tell you that when you look at that, it's a
Into the
major,
microphone if you could.
yeah, sure. I hate microphones.
Old school.
It's a major point, and we know from a local level, 97% of local consumers are now going to social, because who doesn't want a referral in this room if you're going to a doctor, if you're going out to a new restaurant, right? Everybody's looking for a referral base. If you're doing construction on your home. Referral sourcing today, and this is the easiest way to look at social media, it's kind of become like the word of mouth on steroids. Most businesses, if you've been in business for a while, it doesn't grow off of marketing and advertising. We just support and supplement. Businesses grow off of word of mouth, right? That's how most good businesses grow. You don't grow 20 restaurants by just having good food and good service. It's all about everything you're doing as a business owner, word of mouth, having great customer service and being part of your community. That's what now social media has become. And what we're doing is, as marketers, we're looking at how aggressive are people being on social. If we look at social spends on social media at local levels and local markets like ours here, we see there's been a 78% increase in social spending and dollars, marketing, sponsored content, direct-to-consumer marketing on social media. And that includes video, YouTube, that includes Facebook, LinkedIn, even for your business there down the front where you're a commercial lender, being able to target people who are, let's say they're commercial builders, they are construction, they're into development. We work with companies like Toll Brothers and Cahovian on helping them identify people in the market to help drive traffic directly to those sites, whether they're looking for builders, contractors, subcontractors. We can help identify any audience today through social.
Real quick, did your wife do any videos and put them online giving advice about real estate?
Yeah, I would say my wife is on the forefront of that because she's done over 300 videos and she has it on her website and she posts almost daily.
What's the name of it?
Well, her name is Paula Clark. She's a Coldwell Banker real estate agent here in Bergen County.
All right, that's enough marketing.
So.
I want to jump in about the word of mouth. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Gary, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
Mike, too. I'm sorry.
I still read a newspaper every morning, but I read it on my laptop.
Right.
So there's no difference. I mean, we can confuse it if we choose to. Social media is word of mouth. Years ago, there was a chicken company in New York, some of you may be familiar with, called Ranch One, that I launched as a franchise. And we basically kept that community of restaurants in Manhattan because we were generating tremendous buzz, tremendous word of mouth. This was in the 90s, early 90s, prior to social media. But if you take that concept of word of mouth and simply move it into a different delivery system, in this case, Facebook, Twitter, it works the same way. You want great word of mouth. The upside and the downside is that it can go viral and it can spread very quickly. So you could have great things that are being said about you, and you could have that word of mouth, be multiplied 100-fold, positively or negatively.
Sure.
But it really isn't anything new. The delivery system is new, but conceptually it's exactly the same.
Managing information.
Absolutely. You're engaging guests in conversation and in dialogue about what you do.
We're going to be engaging more in conversation right here in a minute. Michael,
Yeah,
jump in.
just getting back to your early point in terms of talking about your successes, I think if you just define your success every month by your balance sheet or whether your company's in business or what you think are the elements of a successful business, I think your business is going to stay kind of small. I think you need to understand that there are successes that can happen along the way, and you need to communicate those. If you can play only one instrument, you need to play your own horn. And I think you need to do it politely. Facebook, social media, don't talk about, hey, Positive Impact just painted our front door, or Positive Impact just put a park bench out there. Talk about your successes. Define success and talk about them and build upon those successes, I think, and that will get you through the clutter. Not that the book is going to sell out today because there's only one copy, but Steve's books, and his lessons in leadership and his thoughts that he puts out, I see them in his Star Ledger and other places. Get information out like he does about the industry, about the subjects, so people believe you're a thought leader yourself, and they'll follow your company because they'll understand that you're a visionary in that field and you're someone to look for. As Rick said, a lot of people are looking for information online. A lot of people aren't necessarily going to buy your company or transact your business. They're looking for information. Look like you know what you're talking
And
about.
to Michael's point, in all seriousness, one of the things we did was outside where the books are, we have handouts, double-sided, lists of keys to, we call it making it rain, but people confuse that sometimes as to what it means. Bringing in business, keeping the clients you have, bringing in new clients. And the other side of that page is simply the keys to building great relationships. Yeah, well, we want you to buy the book? Of course. But we want to give you that handout for free. Why? Because our argument is if you're not constantly giving away valuable information to people that they can use, then you can't succeed in any business. You can't, because it's about giving things away. And by the way, a lot of my colleagues in this business will say, what do you get back for it? And it goes back to what we said before about Jerry. It's a bad approach to have what I call a quid pro quo approach. What are you going to do for me now? You can't build relationships. And I understand the pressure to want to bring in business all the time, but I always argue, think relationships, not transactions. I know you need to make the deal today, but if the other person smells that you're desperate to need to make that deal today, they smell desperation and they run. It's like dating. My wife is against me dating these days, but when I used to date, you're right. I mean, you're 20 years, right?
I'm not saying a word.
Leave it alone. But when you're out in the marketplace or you're dating, people smell desperation, they run. I don't think business is any different. Yeah. If people look at you and they go, man, this guy really feels like, he looks like he needs to make a deal. They don't want to make a deal with someone like that. They want to be with someone who not only has something of value, but they look at someone who they believe can deliver on it. That's why I'm a big believer of giving away things for free. More importantly, put your hand up, get into the conversation. I see some other folks. Yes, who are you, sir?
My name's John Mesco. I'm a state licensed public adjuster, and we help people through the insurance claims process when they have a damage claim and help them get money. for damages without
You're in
any
the
out-of-pocket.
insurance
cost.
industry.
Well, I'm on the other side. I advocate for property owners. So we help people when they have damage, and as opposed to an insurance adjuster who helps the insurance company. We help individuals,
Not the insurance
not
company.
the insurance company.
Just making sure where you're coming from.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. And if you can address this, I've noticed over the past couple years, I've only been at this for 4 years. I built swimming pools before that for 30 years, and I had to find a job, so I came into this. And what I noticed, I spoke before probably 4,000 or 5,000 people at 30 job fairs over the past year and a half. They were looking for jobs. And what I found was that most jobs only last maybe 3 to 5 years now. My dad worked at Merck's as a pipe fitter for 42 years, retired in 72, and it doesn't seem to happen a whole lot anymore unless you work for the state or something, I guess. So I think this rise of the entrepreneurship is occurring, you know, and if you can comment on that, I think I see that paradigm changing.
So more and more people are having to become, or not having to, choosing to become entrepreneurs who maybe never expected to be in the marketplace because they thought they'd have a gig for a lot of years. Jump on that, Michael.
I think your past experience is critical. What we do in our business is, we compete with companies and people who've been in business 3, 4, 5, 7 years. We sell the fact that we've been on all sides of the table. We understand what the insurance companies do, and we understand what property owners need, which would be, you know, your pitch. And we've been them. We know how they think. Somebody who's been in business 3, 4, 5 years can't say that. You have practical ability. When we go out and do our business plans to build stadiums, we add to what the architects do and what the content owners or the team owners do, because we've actually run stadiums. We've owned teams, we've run stadiums, we've built them. So we've been on all the sides of the table. We often have to compete with younger companies and younger people. A little bit like Tim, I'm around the same age, but I try not to brag about it. But once in a while, somebody's looking for a little gray hair background. And I think you need to not be shy about the fact that there are 3 and 5 year old companies or 3 and 5 year old people out, 3 and 5 year old experienced people out there. Sell the other part that you're transitioning out of, because that's critical. When I hire somebody, if there's a fire or catastrophe, and I want to go to battle with my insurance company, I don't want a small company or somebody who's been in business for a couple years. I want somebody who I used to fight against 10 years ago or 8 years ago. You look like that kind of a guy.
Well, it's interesting. You make a great point. But there are a lot of people who never thought they'd be in business, who never thought they'd either have to or choosing now to be in the marketplace as entrepreneurs. It's a bit scary, isn't it? Because you thought you'd have that, it's not a job for life, a job for several decades. What advice do you have, regardless of what the industry you're going into is, to have the mentality and whatever it takes, the intestinal fortitude, to be out there, being rejected on a regular basis, and being in the marketplace, which ain't easy?
Yeah.
You got about 5 minutes left because we got thrown off by, obviously, events beyond our control. So, quick comments, yes and yes.
Yeah, I heard this stated earlier, passion. It's the passion and it's the optimism for the future. I'm on both sides of the scale. And I've been in sales my entire life. You might as well be an entrepreneur because you're kicking doors in every day and people are throwing you out on the street. So it's that thick skin mentality, but it also is a belief in what you do. Myself, the team that works with me, believes in what we do every single day. And we're a business within a business unit. We are directly driving a business segment for a very large company, but we believe every single day when we walk out the door that we're bringing value. The biggest thing that we take home at the end of the day, every day, is the value that we brought to the businesses that we represent. And sometimes they're the biggest agencies in New York City, other times they're the mid-regional guys, or even the SMBs, local Main Street businesses. We believe in what we do. We know we drive value. And I think that's when you go into business on your own, or if you work for a company, whatever it is, if you're going direct, it's the value you bring and the passion you bring with it and the belief in what you do. And I believe everything that we do as an organization drives complete value, and we feel good every day when we hit the street.
Final comments.
You know, as at True Foods, we're a franchisor, so the vast majority of folks that we put in business are folks who have never been in business before, and that's why they look to a franchise. You know, to echo some of the comments here, that's really just a small portion of it, because that's the system and that's the logistics and that's the nuts and bolts. And we can give folks that through the franchise system, but we can't give them the qualities necessary to be an operator, to really want to build a business. And that is the things like passion, never quitting, understanding the amount of work that goes into it, and really being up for it. You know, those are the keys to it. Those are the keys to it.
Sorry for interrupting. And dealing with the rejections, advice?
You know, you get a thick skin after a while. You know, I think Frank Sinatra once said that a critic is like a soldier that comes out of the hills after the battle and shoots the wounded. What difference does it make? By the way, I'm compelled to say that I've been married for 35 years, and my wife encourages dating because she wants me the hell out of the house, okay?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Can I give your wife my wife's number?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a beautiful thing.
No, but I'm serious about there's always critics. Critics are people who aren't doing. They're criticizing. They're on the sidelines.
They're not in the game.
They're not in the game.
Tim,
Well,
in the game.
I live in the world of word of mouth, which was talked about before. What's the largest day in the restaurant business? You all know, right? Mother's Day. At our restaurant, a couple weeks ago, we probably served 10,000 people at our places. If we had 99% customer satisfaction, that means there's 100 people out there who hate me forever and will tell everyone they know. And I'm not kidding. That is the hardest part. And the other piece of advice I'd give, because I was guilty of this, I was just thinking about it. Probably the worst thing I did when I was working for other people was when I didn't do my job as well as I could because I was trying to get somebody else in trouble or trying to get somebody else fired or somebody else, when I intentionally held back what I could do and wanted to watch that person burn. That was, you know, probably 40 years ago, but it stuck with me, and I tell our managers that all the time. Do your job, even if you're the assistant person to the assistant to the assistant. You kill your job and you're going to get rewarded. It's going to happen. If you try to kill somebody else's job and do that, you know, to get rid of them, you're going to fail too. And it happens every single time, every single time. You've got to somehow or other, you know, get the blinders on and not be concerned with your boss's behavior or what they know or what they don't know, how they got there. It's somebody's daughter or son. That's how they got their job. You have to ignore it, and you have to do yours, and it'll work. It just always works. I live in the world of transitional people. The people that work in the restaurant industry, for the most part, are not sure what they want to do next or are coming from something else, and they're stopping by with me. They're just, you know, hanging out for a couple of years maybe, and sometimes they end up staying forever. But our managers are all now hired from within. We do not hire from outside of our own company anymore. I mean, rarely anyway. And usually when we do, we get punished for it. We have found that we had to drill down deeper and to meet the people that already work for us, that already have great talents that, you know, they're serving at a table. And if you don't engage them in a conversation, how would you ever know? The talent is in your company already.
You got to know your people. Final words, Michael.
Tim's last point. I often agree sometimes that there's too many people working. I mean, the quality of service that sometimes we find when you can't get a decaf coffee and you go to a coffee place and it's always the wrong coffee or it's always the wrong whatever. A lot of people, and particularly in the business I used to be in, professional basketball, when they get when they become a member of it, they get a business card and they think they've made it. It's an entry card, as Gary was saying. That's the beginning of what you have to do when you get a job. If you take it as that's what you are and I've made it, that's a problem. So the next step is, as Tim said, it's already within a company. They show up for work, they've already put their end in. You've got to give them the balance of it. And in your own companies, just because somebody showed up, whether they're leased or whether they're transitioning in or out, they can be better if you help them get better. Otherwise, they're just going to quit at that business card.
At this point, I'd like you to join me in giving a hearty round of applause to our great panel. Also, while you're in the mood to applaud, please give a New Jersey, Bergen Community College round of applause for the folks at Salem. AM 970, AM 570. To Jerry and the management team, thank you for allowing us to be a part of this great event. Thank you all for being here today. Again, we'll be outside giving out some free stuff and also moving product. And I have a couple things I need to do. There's a little bit of a special surprise. And by the way, make sure you listen every morning. By the way, who is the greatest morning radio talk show host? Every morning, you know, for several hours, 3 hours, who is the best radio talk show? Who is it? People say that Joe Piscopo used to be great. He's better today than he ever was. Joe Piscopo every morning is funny, smart, insightful, and when I get on the show, it's even better. And Frank Morano, Al Gattulo, Debbie DeHame, that is the best morning team you'll ever find. So stay loyal to a great station every morning. The ratings are okay. They need to be even better. Enough plugging. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Kevin McCullough is going to take care of some business for Salem. Kevin, you ready to do this? I am. Let's do this.
Hey, good morning, Bergen. How are you? Everybody wake up when the fire alarm went off? I don't think anybody slept through the rest of it, that's for sure. Can we say thank you to Steve and the incredible panel? Did you get something helpful out of this today? I tell you, you could go to some of the seminars where talent of this level could do this same type of thing. You could pay thousands of dollars to do it. Why don't you say thank you to Jerry Crowley, who decided you should get to do it for free today? Greatest radio boss in the world right there. All right, who wants to win some stuff? Oh, before I give these away, there's a survey in your playbill. Can you take that out and be filling out for us while we finish up the information here, and then just leave it on your chair before you leave? We want feedback on how we did. We want to make it better the next time. We want to make it more helpful. And so just be working on that. And while you do that, I just want to tell you about the newest thing that I'm doing with AM 970. How many of you know about Baldwin McCullough on Saturday nights? Stephen Baldwin, the actor, and yours truly. We do the tag team. It's 300 stations nationwide and Biz TV across the country. But about 2 months ago, Jerry Crowley, the Idea Factory, said, hey, Kev, why don't you come on and do Monday through Friday, 10 to midnight. We make it like the old school great days of talk radio when Larry King would broadcast from an eatery and you'd have a small audience, but they'd be talking about interesting stuff. And that's what we've recreated with Late Night with KMC, and I hope that you'll check it out every weeknight, Monday through Friday, 10 to midnight. All right, the Atlantic Stewardship guys, and I got to tell you, I love this bank. They give 10% of their corporate, you guys were talking about giving value back to the community. They give 10% of their corporate profits every single day to ministries and charities here in North Jersey, the New York metro area, that are changing people's lives for the better. How about that for a public company that's doing good? Today, they're giving even more stuff away because when you came in, who played the passport game? All right, if you got all your colored dots, then you're eligible for the Panini Grill on the Floating Hinge Bistro at home. And our winner is Harvey Schwartzman. Harvey, in the house.
Where's Harvey Schwartzman?
Come on down.
Harvey.
There you go, Harvey.
Come on, let's hear it for Harvey Schwartzman.
And then you heard us talking about this on the air for the last couple of weeks. But who came to win an iPad mini this morning? Brand new, the plastic's not even off the box. The funnest stuff about Apple is taking it home and opening it. It's like Christmas every time. So is David De Oliveira here? I probably butchered that. Steve, you're Italian. Help me with his last name.
You're Italian. David De Oliveira.
Did I do it okay? David?
David, where are you? This is New Jersey. If he's not here, we're going to another name.
Yeah, he may have left.
I'm joking. David, are you here? Jerry, how do we do this if he's not here?
I
You
think
got to
you
be
do.
here to win.
So,
Is he
Laura,
here?
can you bring me another
David,
name?
are you here? Hold on. Oh, this is Jersey. I know who he is, and I know where to find him.
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind? He's my neighbor. Give it to me. Are you crazy?
I'll see to it that he gets it.
Are
We've
you
got another
serious?
name coming.
Okay, hold on. How well do you know him?
Not enough. Not enough.
Not enough, Tim.
Whose birthday is today? Got a birthday today in the audience?
Now we got a name coming. We got a name coming. Laura's coming.
Is Dave really here?
Come on, Laura.
Jarek, he's got to be here.
That's right.
What's that?
Oh, they're going to pick
Guys, yeah, By applause, who thinks Dr. Dave, even though he's physically not here in the house, and somebody else will win it if we... Who thinks Dr. Dave should win this by applause? Who thinks Dr. Dave had to be in the house?
Yeah. Jim Lamparella's birthday.
Huh?
It's Jim Lamparella's birthday. It is? Yeah, it's right there. He could use an iPad.
Oh, they're picking one.
Okay. Hold on, we're just picking another one. Is it an Italian one? I got it. It's not the same one.
Dave
Dr.
picked
Dave.
He entered more than once? How did that happen? That has no name on it.
That's Jim's. That's Jim's.
That one has no name on it.
That's Jim's.
That's
All right,
mine.
How about that one? Are the stickers there?
That's Jim's.
This passport has been certified, ladies and gentlemen. And it looks like Todd Edelson is the winner
Todd!
of this one. All right,
Oh,
Todd!
Dr. Todd! Hey, it's my doctor! It's my doctor! How'd that happen? Todd, we'll talk later.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you weren't here for the very beginning, you missed the fire drill. But you also missed the first time that our next guest had a chance to say hi to you. But now he's got the whole morning team with him. Please give a big AM 970 welcome to Joe Piscopo!
That was, in theory, that made sense.
Yeah. Essex County with the fog machine on stage.
Joe!
Open the door. Permission to do that. Open the door, air it out. Sorry about that, guys. Hey, I want to welcome my morning team. Please give a nice welcome. Frank Morano, our producer. Frankie Five Barrels, come on over. Working so hard. Oh, can you taste that stuff? I got to take a shower. Sorry about that. And how about Al Gattulo, our news guy? Al, come on, give Al a nice round of applause. Al said not to do it. Sorry. Open the door, air it out. And how about Debbie Duhame doing such a great job with us in the morning? Debbie Duhame live. Guys, thank you for being here. God bless you. If there's any after effects, you can sue Salem Media. Thank you very much. It's great. Thank you and thanks to everybody. Thanks to the guys, the great panel that we had, and Steve Adubato for coming in. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Stephen.
Now that Joe has everybody choking, listen. God bless you. Thank you for coming, Joe. Joe Piscopo, there it is right there.
Thank you, guys. That's so nice. Cannolis. It must be from Vinnie Racuglia, the funeral home. Thank you, guys. Thanks so much. Yeah, can I get the fire extinguisher for the king? All right, blowing out. Here we go. Three candles. That's about it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Steve. Love you, buddy. Thank you. Thanks, guys. God bless. Thanks. We'll cut it. You can have a piece. All right, stick around. We'll have a piece.
Yeah, Hyman Roth.
Yeah, you know, fire extinguisher and yeah, make sure everybody has a piece. I'm Hyman Roth. Thanks, guys. Love you guys.